Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
Mo and Mo and Mo and Mo. ProfessionalTurf.com.
And now, live from the TCL broadcast studios, it's Joe Souchere and Patrick Royce with Sports Talk.
I think to no one's surprise, the Capitals advanced to the finals.
Oh, I think there were a lot of people surprised because of their track record in Game 7s. But
Ovechkin is determined to get to the finals.
They did the road. They had the road ice advantage that you have in the NHL. The 5 of the 7 games in that series were won by the road team.
And they couldn't survive the 5 minutes because Washington just got one right off the bat. So Tampa was in a hole right off the bat.
Minute and 30 seconds or something.
And
like
on the
that.
road, the road team feels terribly comfortable.
Well, the Ricey Pucker theory. If you get behind at home, first of all, you're at home, so you're expecting to win. You're a higher seed. And then you give one up and you go, oh man, we got to get another one. And they had... in the periods I was watching, at the end of the first period and early in the second period, Tampa had the Washington scrambling around, but they couldn't. Did you see the guy miss the wide open net?
Yep.
Yes.
Puck sitting there like a volleyball, man, and he couldn't tap it in.
Mm-hmm.
What was amazed me, though, is Ovechkin's first goal and how fast he can fire that. I mean, you're under pressure, and it's just boom, and he beat the goalie by a mile.
Quick release. Boom.
Man.
He's great.
He's played a really great playoff run this year.
He's an all-time great. I didn't see much of Game 6, but I guess Game 6 he was running around beating up on people.
Yeah, he was. Mm-hmm.
But you got to like an old-fashioned NHL game where 2 guys are in the penalty box and said,
let's go.
Hey, when we come out, let's decide this.
Yep.
And that was a good fight, and I'll give Tom Wilson credit, the big lug from Washington. He's actually not a big lug. He's a pretty good defenseman. But he was swinging away, even though half his punches were hitting the side of the face mask.
Never good.
He landed such a good right on the guy that he knocked the helmet off.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. But that was a real fight. That was old-time hockey right there.
You don't often see him make the additional arrangements in the box.
No, not anymore.
No.
Not anymore. That was, they just went out and Doc Emmerich said this one was, I think he said, this one was prearranged before they went out there. Well, they took a run at, that guy from Tampa took a run at not Ovechkin, but Backstrom, who's not a big, tough guy. And Wilson tried to get at him in Game 6, but didn't get to him. So Wilson was still looking for him to take a shot at him in Game 7.
Well, Monday night is must-view to get the pregame in Vegas.
You got to root for Washington, though. You can't root for Vegas.
I have no interest either way. Although Louis Nanny was telling the guys this morning that Vegas has done more for this league to get publicity than anything he can remember.
Well, he's late to that theory.
No, he's not late to the theory. He's had it.
I know, but I've been saying that for months.
It's that miracle team in Vegas, that miracle.
Yeah, that miracle team.
Should have been their name, right?
It should have been the Las Vegas Miracle. They have more outstanding players than the teams they've beaten, but it's a miracle. It's a miracle.
No, it's a miracle that they were this good.
Yeah, well, we went through this.
I know, we don't have to do it again.
Yeah, we went through this a couple.
Do you know that Twins, according to John Haidt, sent down Nick Cave? Nick Cave is an Australian rocker.
Oh, Nick Cave.
No, they sent down Jake Cave.
Jake Cave, yes. Well, it's easy to mistake that.
Because Sano's back?
I have heard of Jake Cave. I've never heard of Nick Cave.
I know.
You're not much of a punk rocker.
Is Sano on the
is
flight?
back.
Is he on the flight?
I got Yeah, they probably let him know. I don't even know. He might have flown out. No, he played last night, right? He hit a home run last night or yesterday. So,
Where?
In Rochester.
Okay.
So he came out. I sent out a photo of him on Twitter. He looks pretty dang good. I sent out he's been
As far as weight loss, or
yeah, it looks terrific.
Are you being
What year was that
I can't
photo?
tell where you're going.
355
I
pounds.
sent out a picture from about 6 years ago and said, Snell on the way back from minors looking pretty good.
Well, I think the tip-off was the fact that he barely had any hair on the top of his head. He's got dreadlocks down to the middle of his back now.
Yeah, well, he hit a couple of home runs out there. I guess they just decided that they're so feeble against left-handed pitching, they got to take a shot.
That's an interesting point. You know, we're lamenting the weight. How much of that is hair? There's a lot of hair on the top of that head.
Yes, yeah, he hit a lot better when he didn't have that much hair. But yes, and Paxton, the guy who got attacked by the Eagle,
Right.
is pitching for Seattle tonight.
And you don't like
he's got
that's
a
tomorrow
no-hitter
night.
Tomorrow night.
tonight. Oh,
Or
I thought
off
he was
today.
pitching tonight.
No, tomorrow
Off
night.
today.
Oh, that's right. Today's Thursday.
Yeah.
What am I thinking?
I keep saying
I'm
it's
with
Friday.
you. I thought it was Friday.
I thought it was
man.
Friday. I
Yeah.
tried to leave at 3.
So Snow left early this morning, and will be joining the flight to the coast this afternoon.
A
probably.
mayoral Thursday.
Well, will he play third base?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a shame.
They get him out there and see how nifty she's looking.
What was he rehabbing? What injury?
This is a hamstring. His left leg, in the last 3 years, he pulled a hammy there in 2016 and missed a month.
BLW?
No, it's a hammy.
Okay.
And then in 2017, of course, he fouled the ball off his shin and ended up missing basically the last 6 weeks of the season. And that was also the left side. And then now it's back in his hammy. And of course, they always say when he pulls a muscle, well, it's not too serious. He might be back in a few days. And they might as well just put him on the DL. When he had the Molitor did have the quote. He did say, those aren't normal hamstrings. So
Because they're so massive.
he is a massive human being. That's for sure.
And you don't like their chances against Paxton, do you?
Oof, no, he's really good.
Is
He's
Seattle
really
having a decent year?
They've had really bad luck lately, but they're okay. They're actually ahead of the Angels. But Cano got suspended.
Yep.
And then D. Gordon, who they signed and put him in center field, he used to be a very good infielder. They brought him back in once Cano got suspended to play second base, and he just broke his finger. What did he do, Reavers?
I think he
D. Gordon, or fouled a
fractured
ball off
hand.
his toe. No, same thing as Buxton. Hit a ball off his toe. Hit a ball off his toe. He's going on the DL. And they've had, and Nelson Cruz, their big sluggers, having some health problems too, so they've had a lot of injuries. But they're pretty good, yeah. They're not too bad. They got some good starters. They got Paxton, they got Felix Hernandez. They have some good starters.
They're easy to forget about, tucked way up there.
Yes, they are.
And they got
Except
one of the
the year
nicest
they-
ballparks, too.
Yeah, except the year they won 116 games and then got beat in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was quite the ball club, that one. That's for sure.
When is the Town Ball Classic, Reeves?
Saturday, baby. We're kicking her off early this year. 10 o'clock is the first game between the defending state champion Kimball Express against the runner-up Lake Henry Lakers.
Has Kimball's appearance been confirmed?
Yes, they will be
We're
there.
good. We're going to be there. Do we have a lineup yet?
I'm working on getting a
Still
roster
trying to get a
from the
roster.
club, but they're both really good teams. Probably two of the top 5 Class C teams right now in the state.
Kimball versus whom?
Lake Henry, the Lake Henry Lakers.
My guys.
It's a rematch of the championship game from last year.
I know those guys, the Lake Henry guys.
How is it determined who gets to play in the Town Ball Classic?
A lot of people have input, and we make a selection based upon strength of your team, your following, your ability to sell a lot of tickets.
Remember Dick Cullum's Great Tomato Contest?
Yep.
In the Twins room. The great Dick Cullum was the old columnist from the Minneapolis Tribune, and he would have the Great Tomato Contest every year where he would judge on 7 categories the tomatoes, and Billy Martin and all these guys would bring in their tomatoes. And then they would have a variety of jugs of whiskey behind so the seventh category was bribery. And he'd write a column about it every year, and it was pretty hysterical. And I attended a couple of the Great Tomato Contests. He'd have a knife, and there'd be a little plate, and he'd taste it.
Looking for firmness and maybe.
Okay, these were tomatoes brought to the Twins room. I thought they were grown there.
No, allegedly grown by these guys.
Oh, they went to a grocery store.
Well, one year Martin showed up with a can of stewed tomatoes, but he had a big jug of wild turkey behind. He
was in the running.
He had like a $40 bottle of booze. I think he ended up winning.
Who got the booze? Cullum?
Yeah, it was Cullum who get the booze.
Yeah.
It was to the bribery for the judge, but it was the Robertsons would all grow tomatoes, and there would be the people around. Tom Bordoukalis, the Greek that ran the concessions, he was always a tomato grower too. It was pretty funny, and he'd write a column about the Great Tomato. He'd write about 3 columns a summer about the Great Tomato Contest.
Stewed tomatoes.
Yes.
And hit with wild turkey.
Yes, right.
Looking good, Billy.
Yes.
Just a moment.
We just came up with a quandary.
We got a problem.
What's the problem?
Well, the president. First of all, the president denies that the anti-kneeling movement in the NFL is his doing. He said the people of America pushed that forward, okay. But he never shuts up about it. He just loves to talk about this.
Yes.
And he said the new policy gives players the option to stay in the locker room during the playing of the anthem if they do not wish to comply. Well, I think that's good, Trump told Fox News. I don't think people should be staying in the locker rooms, but I still think it's good. You have to stand proudly for the national anthem, he said. You shouldn't be playing. You shouldn't be there. Maybe they shouldn't be in the country, which is tantamount to saying, let's deport you.
Yeah, we're going to get you out. We're going to throw you out of the country if you don't stand for the anthem.
What's the dilemma you just pointed out?
I just pointed out to Joe that those of us who are however many generations,
right.
Who's going to take us?
Where are you going to deport me to?
Where are you going to deport me to?
Right.
Who's going to take me?
Eastern Bloc?
You could always go back to the House of Roos.
I can go back to the House of Roos and
be
say,
Heinrich.
Hey, Heinrich the 38th is
the
here.
prodigal Heinrich has returned.
Yes,
I've got no place
but
to go.
They're not taking you back in Krakow or not.
No,
they don't even know
Warsaw, Krakow.
They don't want you anymore. They don't want us. Where are we going to go?
This is going to absolutely consume the coverage of football.
Oh, God, yes.
It's going to consume it.
The Associated Press guys covering NFL games next year is the guy who's writing the game story says, we don't care who scores a touchdown.
Yep.
We don't care who intercepts a pass or who wins. We want to know who came running out of the locker room after the anthem was played.
Well, and TV will show that.
Right? No, TV
so?
is...
They'll do what the league tells them to.
The league, they did not work hard to show us the kneelers and those people. They are in absolute cahoots.
Yeah.
So you don't think the commentators are going to say, this is his 4th anthem of the year, in Wake 7. He's got 4 of 7.
Yeah,
he's 0-4.
Yeah, right.
You know what? It will be a new stat, though.
Oh, and...
for sure.
And...
Anthem attendance.
If you had that big congested sideline, right?
Yep.
If you knelt down behind these guys, nobody even noticed. Nobody knew. You sat on the bench.
This would have gone away had he not opened his mouth.
Now, those guys are going to get booed harder. What if you're in there? What if you seriously have to take a pregame? You're number 2.
You just have to do it.
You got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to come out. Yeah, you
hear that
communists.
anthem?
We should be. Yeah,
I really had to go.
Number 77 Smith. He sucks. He's a commie. With the toilet paper running out of your football pants.
There should be a sign, much like the refs have certain signs, like for holding, et cetera, et cetera. Right. You should be able to run out of the tunnel, like maybe holding up the 2. Well, you got to have the peace peace sign in both hands.
It was a 2.
Deuce. I was deuce. No, he comes out like this going, illegal. Deuce.
I love the flag. I just had to really
Yes,
go.
right. Yes.
But there could be an AP. What's his AP? What's his anthem percentage? He's at about 85 for the first 6 weeks.
That morning show we have here from ESPN, that's all they talked about this morning.
Yeah, right.
Big hockey game last night, didn't hear
Yes.
anything about it.
Wow.
It's
I
incredible.
mean, Pat, 4 hours of this stuff. Yeah.
What can you say? What
Well,
this would have gone away except for the president's speech in Alabama last fall.
yes.
It would have gone away.
It was down. We were down to about 4 protesters
Right.
by then, because they just gotten tired of it. And then he brought it up, and then Jerry Jones, who like 2 weeks earlier had been kneeling down before
With
the
them,
anthem
yeah.
with his players, all of a sudden this was the biggest thing in the history of mankind.
Speaking of that,
And Jerry Jones, by the way, did it because the Cowboys were having other issues, and he wanted to deflect the attention. Yes.
Did you tell the mayor about your tweet this morning that got the troops wound up?
Oh, that was too easy.
I was taking candy.
I went to I stopped at I noticed that my car only had like an eighth of a tank, so I stopped,
Okay, you got to get gas.
and I was surprised about what the gas prices were, so I filled it up, and it was $40, which I haven't paid $40 for 5 years, right? When did the gas prices collapse?
I don't know.
And so I
Well, I can tell you this.
I tweeted out, I said, the $40
First $40 fill.
The $40 tank of gas is back. Thanks, Trump.
40? I paid 80.
Well,
I've got a
Trump
35-gallon
has-
tank.
Trump has
Yeah.
zero to do with it.
I know it.
Yeah.
I realize
not the
that.
point.
That
Trolling? Is
that
that
has
called
got
trolling?
nothing
Yeah, he
to
went-
do with it.
He went fishing.
They
went
were on,
fishing.
then what the fun is then they start arguing with each other. I'm out of it.
Right.
It's not,
He's holding everybody's coat while they all fight.
They're all battling each other. It's great.
That's the way the commenters work on news stories. They
And
end
then-
up fighting with each other.
Oh, yeah. And then the other guy, then we had the picture of the guy who was screaming at the McDonald's at the Muslims that they shouldn't be able to eat it here. So I sent out his picture and said, who he vote for? And they got on that one, too.
What was the one commenter, though, that had the pretty good line?
He says, did you ever urinate on a hornet's nest just to see what would happen? It's too easy. Unbelievable.
Well,
But he is great. You know, I think as crazy as he is, we would have been less of a democracy if we never had the lunatic as the president. I think he's worth daily yucks. I think it's fantastic.
well, because he's doing exactly what he said he would do.
The $40 tank of gas is back. Thanks, Trump. Royce, you're such a bastard. That's awesome.
And that was one that I had to send while I was waiting for the gas to fill up.
111 likes on that one. 33 responses, 14 retweets.
Several death threats, but that's okay.
That's all right. Sports Talk will return shortly, but now thanks to our good friends in Owatonna, Minnesota, at Federated Insurance, where it's their business to protect your business, and nobody does that better than Federated. It's Bruce Vail from the Wall Street Journal and Your Money Now.
All right, do I have 30 seconds for a quick comment about the comments?
Yes.
All right, I'm on the Home Depot's website today checking out gutters. They sell these vinyl gutters in 10-foot sections. The headline says 10-foot section. Below it says 120 inches. Mm-hmm. Down in the comment section, the very first comment is from somebody who says, what is the length of the gutters? It says 10 feet, but then it says 120 inches. The very next comment says, if you're asking that question, maybe you should stay away from power tools.
Call a contractor,
I
my
thought that
friend.
was hysterical. Bad day in the market today. Not too bad, but stocks bounced around between gains and losses and ended up lower. with the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 75 points at 24,811. The Nasdaq Composite lost just 1 point, and the S&P 500 fell just 5 points. Home values are rising in many areas at the fastest pace since 2006. The real estate website Zillow said median home values nationwide in April were up 8.7% from a year earlier. In the Twin Cities, the median home value rose 7.8% from April of 2017 to April of this year. Starbucks ranks just a bit above the fast food industry average for restroom cleanliness, but keeping that above average rating may be a challenge now that the company has decided to let non-paying customers use its restrooms. Managers and baristas regularly deal with a range of problems in the bathrooms, from drug use to bad aim, and some employees now are concerned it's only going to get worse. I'm Bruce Vail with your Money Now on 1500 ESPN.
Get on track to a successful business career with Concordia University St. Paul. Learn online or on campus. You can learn more about their business degrees at online. Okay, we've got some sort of awful drama playing out in White Bear Lake. Sounds like both directions of Highway 61 are shut down through White Bear Lake. I know you won't be able to go northbound past County 96. Everybody being turned around there. And it's a police action, and that's all I'm allowed to say at this point. I've got some nonsense I can tell you, but I
think you should.
It's not worth it until we know what the real story is. Eastbound Highway 36 seeing a full flow through Roseville. Expect a couple of extra minutes between W and E. Westbound 694 binding up between Silver Lake Road and the Mississippi. And, of course, westbound 62 rocketing the brakes at Hiawatha, riding them all the way over to the single lane at 34th. If you're eastbound and down, she's already jamming at Tracy.
I got a question.
He walked it right to it.
Shut up!
Right to it.
Show some respect.
Yeah,
that was a minute, baby.
That was wonderful.
Good. Kenny, I got a question. Is this a big travel day? Do people head for the lake tonight?
Yeah, people have actually been pulling out of town since Tuesday, but tonight's going to be colossal.
Do you have any appreciation for what he just did?
That was a of the post.
Walk the ramp.
Yeah, it was good, but it was over. I was going to get on to another
Roll out.
that was yesterday. The Twins won the 91 World Series, too. What the hell is that? What difference does that make?
I love Patrick's reaction when Kenny said, hey, did you see what I just did? Yeah, that was great. Hey, Kenny, I have a question.
Here's John Height.
Wait a minute. To answer whoever asked that question about people rolling out of town, I know a team that went down to Iowa that left my house this morning.
Oh, my God. Are you in trouble?
I'm unsupervised until Monday night.
Why?
That's not good.
Oh, good luck.
You need a chaperone over a holiday.
You know what you're going to need is one of those help. I've fallen and I can't get up.
One of those beepers.
You lock this one up, Johnny?
No, I'm
Westbound 94 already riding the brakes. Do you want me to do this again? Hemlock up past 610.
God, that was sweet.
You'll see a crash along the way. Okay, I will.
It's partly sunny, and we're back up to 91 degrees now. The Twins reinstated Miguel Sano today. Of course, he missed the past 24 games with that hamstring injury.
He wasn't missed.
Recently wrapped up a 5-game rehab stint with AAA Rochester. To make room on the roster, the team sent not Nick Cave, but Jake Cave down to Rochester.
Nick Cave in the bad seeds?
Nick Cave in the bad seeds.
That's what I said last hour.
All right.
Didn't even notice.
All right. If he has 4 at-bats tonight and doesn't strike out, I'll give each one of you guys $3.
Just three.
First of all, you
3,
keep
4,
thinking
5,
they're playing tonight.
$15.
They're not playing tonight.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Do we get the
First
money
game,
anyway if they don't
Friday.
play tonight?
You know what? I will.
$15. I'll give you all $3.
I'll play along if you give me one of those chicken fried steaks again. That's the only thing I'm playing for is chicken
I gotta
fried
call
steak.
my Omaha guys and tell them to send another package.
Kenny, how good was that stuff? It was so good. What?
Yeah.
It was better than a.
It was
No,
better than
that's not. Let's keep it
was
up.
better than running it right up to the ramp, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, but Royce, you're making a bet over a holiday weekend. Percent chance any of us remember the bet on Tuesday.
That's why he's the house. The fixer is smart. He knows what he's doing.
Including the guy making the bet.
Twins are off tonight. They'll open a series in Seattle
Fixer's got
tomorrow.
it down.
That's right.
News notes from today. A teacher in Duluth accused of having sex with a former student at her home earlier this month. 33-year-old Carlo Winterfeld was charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct. Winterfeld arrested Monday, the day Duluth police were notified about the alleged contact. Authorities say the 15-year-old boy is a former student of Winterfeld's. According to the complaint,
why is that name so familiar to
He's named after a country in one of the areas in Game of Thrones, Winterfell.
Okay.
According to the criminal complaint, police collected evidence that included a recording of sexual acts, photographs, and text messages.
Oh.
Winterfeld requested a public defender. A judge rejected that request. Bail set at $100,000. She's a health teacher.
How old's the guy?
15.
Okay.
Winterfeld is a health teacher at Lincoln Park Middle School. The Duluth School District says she's been placed on administrative leave and that the district is cooperating with police in the investigation.
I shouldn't have been so presumptive, but was it a guy?
No.
The
15.
The victim.
Yeah, the 15-year-old was a
victim.
boy, yes.
Yeah, okay.
15-year-old was
All
a
right,
boy, and the teacher was
I don't
a
want
female.
to sound sexist by suggesting that it was definitely a boy. So, okay.
President Trump today canceling plans for that summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un as the White House considered a fresh round of sanctions on Pyongyang. He cited open hostility from the North Korean regime for the reason.
Damn, there goes the Nobel Peace Prize.
While lamenting the cancellation, which he carried out without informing allies, as a missed opportunity and a truly sad moment in history, the president held open the possibility the summit still could take place. South Korean officials, surprised by the president's decision to call off the talks, and the National Security Council scheduled an afternoon meeting to discuss potential military action, new sanctions, and other paths forward, a White House official told the Wall Street Journal.
He'll be playing golf on that weekend. I guarantee you he decided he would rather go to Bedminster and play golf.
Harvey Weinstein expected to surrender to authorities tomorrow to face sex crime-related charges, according to law enforcement officials. The former movie mogul is expected to appear in court in Lower Manhattan. Weinstein has been under criminal investigation in connection with the allegations of two women, Lucia Evans and Paz de la Huerta. It's not clear what charges Weinstein will face, but Evans told The New Yorker Weinstein forced her to perform oral sex on him in 2004, while de la Huerta told Vanity Fair he raped her in 2010. Both accusations are within the statute of limitations in New York, given the nature of the alleged crimes. Weinstein's case recently presented to a grand jury by prosecutors in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which declined to comment. More than a dozen U.S. Air Force airmen linked to a drug ring at a base that controls America's nuclear missiles. They've already faced disciplinary actions, including court-martials, that according to an investigation by the Associated Press. Military investigators cracked the ring in 2016 after one of the service members made the mistake of posting drug-related material to social media. The drug that they were involved with, LSD, which the Pentagon had stopped screening for in drug tests. Citing records obtained under the Freedom of Information Act.
Who took that off? We don't need to do that anymore.
Under the citing records obtained under the Freedom of Information Act, the news service reported the drug ring operated at F.E. Warren Air Force Base just outside of Cheyenne, Wyoming. The airmen took the drugs, LSD, and they also took ecstasy, cocaine, and marijuana during their off-duty time. But at least one airman acknowledged while under the influence of LSD, he would not have been able to respond properly had he been called to duty. Evidence in the airman's case showed that they did the drugs at state parks or at parties in Denver, or a group went longboarding on the streets after taking LSD. It also includes quotes.
Longboarding is a form of a skateboard?
That's skateboard.
It's a big skateboard that's used for traveling, basically. It also includes quotes from some service members who recalled having bad trips. Airman Kyle S. Morrison is quoted as saying, "Minutes felt like hours. Colors seemed more vibrant and clear. In general, I felt more alive."
You're in trouble when you can feel the Earth's rotation. That's when you know you've reached peak.
You're really in touch at that point.
Yeah.
Air Force prosecutors.
Where you have to put your face down on the ground and hold on to the Earth for all you're worth.
Air Force prosecutors had a different view, saying taking the hallucinogenic drug can produce paranoia, fear, and panic, unwanted and overwhelming feelings, unwanted life-changing spiritual experiences, and flashbacks.
Don't hear much about LSD these days. What happened to it?
I have no idea, Pat.
Still around?
It's still around.
I don't hear much about it. Got beat out by meth.
Are you looking for some?
No. I can get you some LSD by 10 o'clock.
Well, yeah.
Mount Rushmore National Memorial is getting a $14 million upgrade. Although
We had a new president?
No. The carved heads will not be touched as part of this upgrade. Maureen McGee-Bollinger is chief of interpretation. And
come on, let's put Trump up there. let's just see what happens.
Big hairdo, man. Big hair.
Tweet that one out, Royce. See what happens.
God, that tweet, I grabbed Patrick in the hallway because I saw that tweet and just started laughing when I saw all the reactions. It was great. Anyway, the gal here told the Rapid City Journal that construction is mostly overdue maintenance work. The largest change funded by the $14 million congressional appropriation will be a streamlined avenue of flags. The flags will be placed onto concrete structures along the walkway's sides so people in wheelchairs can more easily access plaques memorializing statues. Other upgrades in the 20-month project include removing part of the rock archway to better reveal the terrace and installing lanterns to reduce light pollution in the area. Granite pavers damaged by flooding along the terrace will be replaced with decorative concrete. The nonprofit Mount Rushmore Society is raising money in addition to the congressional funding in order to swap out dated video for the amphitheater and visitors center.
All right, everyone here has been there, right?
Couple of times.
I have.
Rushmore. You know, it's a bit, but I recall, I think once is all, maybe twice. You're winding around, you get a little glimpse, you're winding around, and then you're behind the mountain, and then you don't see anything, and then all of a sudden you come into the opening, and you can't help but say, holy bleep, is that big?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's going to be really crazy when they finally finish it is that Crazy Horse Memorial.
Yeah, they're going to get
They've
done
been
with
working
it.
on that forever and
The
ever.
problem with that is it's funded by donations, and the construction's being done by the family. So progress is very, very slow.
Right, because they didn't want to
Very
take any
slow.
government money.
It's got to be
Screw it up.
20-some years.
Yes,
way.
yeah.
I think it's way over that.
Well, let's get a couple of casinos to chip in some bucks here.
You know what
Let's
I think
go.
put that on the map as much as anything?
What?
North by Northwest.
Oh, that scene where they come around the mountain and that's all you can see is the faces, and then the guy's putting all the stuff on the plane
You haven't
guy.
even watched it.
No, I haven't. I'm making it up. Mentioned that being locked up in Shawshank for so many years makes a man very humble
And lonely.
and very lonely. But I would like to say I did absolutely nothing at all. And so I'm going to have a fine Memorial Day weekend.
All right.
Hello, fellas. How was that?
You know, when you apologize, I believe it.
I appreciate your sincerity and believe in my believability.
You didn't have anything going with the gal driving Miss Daisy, though, right? You did nothing going on there, right?
Miss Daisy and I were very professional.
Okay.
But there was the time that she was showing me a little more leg than she was supposed to. She had those old lady shoes on with those little knickers that came up to. They came right up.
She had one of those brown spots behind her knee that she.
Yeah, and I told her, Miss Daisy, you have a tear in your what do you call those?
Pantyhose.
Pantyhose. And she told me not to let my eyes draw down to her legs. Stay at my eyes, she said. Stay at my eyes.
But didn't she also make you rub her bunions? Didn't you have to?
Every once in a while, she would say, "It is time to rub the bunions, Johnny." And I knew exactly what that meant.
Was that a euphemism?
That was a euphemism.
Well,
In Independence, Missouri.
and by the way, the weenie that caused all this, Harvey, just turned himself in.
Yes, he
Literally.
Yes.
In Independence, Missouri, a senior at Truman High School will not be allowed to walk in his graduation because of a prank he pulled. 18-year-old Kylan Sheely admits to posting an ad on Craigslist that listed Truman High School for sale.
What's wrong with that?
And they're actually disciplining him?
Yep.
What a bunch of humorless jackasses.
Sheely said it was meant to be a joke. He said
Well, it was a joke.
other people were going to release live mice, build a beach in the front lobby
Yeah.
area. I thought, let's do something a little more laid back.
Yeah.
The ad listed several amenities, including the school's newly built athletic fields, plenty of parking, and a bigger than normal dining room. The Independent School District, though, took issue with his reason for the sale, which he wrote was due to the loss of students coming up. On Wednesday, Sheely, who told Fox 4 he has a 3.9 GPA, was notified he was suspended for the remainder of the school year and would not walk in Saturday's
What a
graduation.
bunch of BS.
Oh, what? Now, what? Is it untrue that they're losing students? or-
That's untrue. And
But so what? He's fleshing out his ad.
yeah.
They also said, and this makes no sense to me. Well, the police looked at it first because the school told them they thought it was a safety issue. The police said no, there's nothing here, and they didn't charge him with anything. But then the school released a statement saying, "We see this as a safety issue,
Oh my God! Shut up.
and we want all our students to be safe."
Okay.
What does that have to do with safety?
Yeah,
Who's their
nothing that I
spokesman?
can
Who's
think of.
their spokesman? I want to talk to the superintendent and tell him what a jackass he is.
They just need a good open hand slap.
Yes.
He did apologize also, but school district said the decision, quote, will not be reconsidered.
B as in B.
Unbelievable.
In Ohio, this is a different way. Usually it's to kill bugs or something, but authorities say a homeowner trying to kill weeds with a torch burned down his garage.
Oopsies.
Did you ever try that, Soch? You had a couple of. Okay.
Springfield News Sun reports Springfield Township firefighters in central Ohio were called to a home about 4 a.m. Thursday for a detached garage engulfed in flames. Nobody was injured. Fire officials learned the man had been trying to eliminate weeds around the garage. They're calling the fire an accident. The destroyed garage held tools and appliances. Fire officials estimate the loss at between $10,000 and $15,000.
I know
Go ahead.
a guy that dumps his waste gas on the cracks in the sidewalk where the weeds grow up, and then he lets that soak in, and then he drops a match on it.
Does that work pretty well?
Kind of has an inferno going there in the driveway. It works pretty well.
Work for you, Kenny?
Not me. No, not me.
Seeing the neighbor do that.
John, he said a guy he knows.
Jeez, you weren't listening, were you?
Apparently not. Weird story from North Carolina. A woman there facing charges after she forced a cable repairman to let her perform a sex act on him, according to police.
Forced him. Big girl, was she?
Did she do a bad job or something? Well, that doesn't matter. What was it? Just bad?
47-year-old Mildred Newsom.
I already have a satellite dish, but come on in.
Her name's Mildred. There's a tip-off.
47-year-old Mildred Newsom of Fayetteville arrested after an investigation into the man's accusations following a repair call at her apartment.
Does she have a lot of calluses or what? What's
Bunions.
Sergeant Sean Strape told the Fayetteville Post the cable guy was there to do some work, and while waiting for it to reset as he was sitting on a couch, she came over, grabbed his hand, forcefully placed his hand on her own breast. The unidentified technician in his 30s tried to resist the unwanted sexual advance, but she persisted and performed oral sex on him. Newsom then told the man that she would turn the story around on him if he reported the alleged assault to police, saying she would tell authorities he was the aggressor.
Yeah.
Investigators have yet to determine a motive in the alleged attack.
Well, I think horniness when a man loves a woman.
Newsom.
The other way around. When a woman
I'd
loves a
love
man.
to see a picture of this gal.
Well, I did see a picture of her.
What do you
Is
think?
she a big
Johnny?
gal, John?
All it was just a mugshot, so all you saw was the head.
Bad helmet?
She's not an attractive woman. That's the nicest way.
Well, the problem is he walked into the door and said, "I'm here to lay the cable."
You know,
And that got
just
things.
put more money in the CAT scan machine for him.
Attempts to reach Newsom by the local paper were unsuccessful.
Well, I have a serious question.
Yes, Joe.
Are we to presume that had she been a knockout babe,
That he
we never
wouldn't
would have
do it.
heard about this story?
Yeah, I think it would have said, I can't fix it. I'll have to come back and reset it tomorrow.
Right.
It would have been. I couldn't believe
My Lord.
Did he already write
No, I mean,
the
I'm
penthouse
serious.
forum
We're
letter?
making a safe presumption there that had this been a model, this guy would have never said a word.
Well, Joe, if it had been a model, my guess is she wouldn't have been as lonely as Mildred.
Well, that's true.
Wasn't the gal from Kingpin, was it?
What? No, I'm thinking it's the Big Lebowski. What was that movie? The log jamming. I'm here to
Jam.
fix the cable.
I had a question as I read this story, though, and this isn't answered because it's not really part of the story, but let's assume this guy in his 30s, this technician,
Yeah.
what if he's married? What do you go home and tell the wife, hey, how'd work go
Well, you
today?
don't tell the wife.
Well, now she's out there
He's
now.
a cable guy. She has to assume he's getting it every day. I mean, what the hell?
Well, it became a news story because he went to the police.
Well, then I bet he's not married, John.
It's like
maybe,
being
yeah.
a star athlete.
Yeah.
If you're married to a star athlete, you just have to assume.
It's part of the job.
The assumption is, you're probably right, Joe, because he went to police immediately, so he knew it would become a news story.
What a crybaby.
What does he hope to do? Get money, maybe?
Well, no,
he
she's
didn't want to
Joe.
get charged with anything.
She now faces 2 felony counts of second-degree forcible sex offense, 1 misdemeanor count of sexual battery. So he just wanted her apparently to face the music.
Face the music, as they say, huh, John?
Exactly.
All right. Rook, can you take us to the
Maybe
timeout
that's what happened to
phase?
Morgan Freeman. Maybe,
Yeah.
Your cable.
I'll ask him when I find him. What you got coming up in the ride?
Well, I wanted to ask Kenny what he thought was taking place in White Bear, but I can't find him. He must be on the air with the girls.
I think he's got some. Yeah, he's got some of his updates down the hall.
But
I haven't seen anything.
As to what's coming up on the ride, you'd have to ask this guy.
Yes.
What's coming up on the ride?
Andrew Kramer's going to be with us about 4:40, see what's going on out at the organized team activities. It's not the optional, it's the organized team activities at whatever we call that place now.
Do they have indoor and outdoor practice there?
Oh, I'm sure they got everything. I haven't been out there yet, but I'm sure they have
they were
everything.
still working on the outdoor last time I checked, but the indoor is all set to go, and then they're putting up their scoreboard, or maybe it's done already.
The
I don't know.
outdoor football field's not done yet.
But they're turning the lights off at night.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And Johnny Krasinski, talk a little Timberwolves, and the big Carl Anthony Towns kerfuffle with Tom Thibodeau. So we'll do that, and all the topics of the day.
1500 ESPN is KSTP St. Paul, Minneapolis 91.
Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. It's crazy to think that a few weeks ago we were talking about whether or not Tua Tagovailoa should consider retiring. After 2 concussions and worldwide debates on player safety and NFL culpability, Tua has done nothing but go back to work and currently has the Dolphins riding a 3-game win streak and 1 loss behind the division favorite Buffalo Bills. While everyone was yapping about the end of his career, Tua Tagovailoa said he'll decide when it's time. And clearly, he's not ready to hang up the cleats. Hi, this is Chris Howard from the Plugged In with Chris Howard podcast. BetOnline.net is your number 1 source for betting football and the start of the new basketball season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting, up-to-the-minute scores for the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including the MLB playoffs, the start of the NHL season, MMA, boxing, and golf. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts.